Hey guys, we're playing Prison Architect. Oh yeah. When I put that poll up on my website, asked you which games you wanted me to play, I told you I was going to listen to that poll, and I was amazed. This is the second most popular game after City Skylines. I kind of knew City Skylines would be the most popular, but I was amazed when this was second by a long way. If you haven't voted yet, the poll is still running, so feel free to go and vote. Can still make some changes. There are going to be things dropped and new things added. Right, should we play this game? Let's play this game. We're going to create a new prison. Oh yeah. And we're going to create, of course, a large prison. A huge prison. I'm going to have Fog of War on. Now, Fog of War basically means when your prison guards walk around, areas that they're in, you can see. Areas that they move out of will slowly go grey and you won't be able to see what's going on. So it kind of represents a good Fog of War, I think. Generate forests we'll have, because that's a good thing, and I'll tell you why when we get in there. Generate lakes. I'm not going to have a lake on this one. We're just going to have a nice big flat map that we can work with. No buildings. We are going to have failure conditions. So if I mess up, it'll be game over. Gangs. Now, gangs I'm not going to have on. Gangs was added in this release, which is Alpha 34. There is a second half to gangs, which is being added in 35. So I'm going to wait for 35 before I go with gangs. And unlimited funds? Nah, we're going to play properly. Right, let's play. Okay, so here is our map, and our map is big. Trust me, really, this is big. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pause, because the clock is running and we've got a lot to do before our first intake of prisoners arrive, which 24 hours may seem like a long time. It's not. Now, before we do anything else, I'm going to show you what I think is a useful number. I've got a little bit of a magic number. For those of you with OCD like me, 46 by 39 will allow you to center the map and also center your quadrants. So if you want to do a symmetrical prison with like 4 quadrants, this will let you do it really easily. So what we're going to do, I'm going to go up to this corner and we're going to select the planning tool, and I'm going to use pathways, and then I'm going to go right into the corner tile, and then I'm going to measure out. Now, it's difficult to see. You have to zoom in to be able to see the numbers. There are very, very few things wrong with this game. Like, very, very few. I love this game, trust me. But I do wish they'd make these numbers bigger. Right, so 46 by 39, right? That will get you, that will get you to the center of the quadrant. If you put in a 2 by 2, that 2 by 2 is the center of that quadrant. And then if you do the same again and do a 46 by 39. 46 by 39. That's 39. 46 by 39. Boom. There. Then for this, it's not there. You might think it would be there, but it's not. It's actually 1 square further in. Though that is the center of the map. Now you're probably going to go, hang on a second, why is it different? Why does it overlap there but it doesn't overlap there? And it's because you can't build on the very outside tile. Okay, so the center of the buildable area is there, and the center of your quadrant is there. So that's that. Right, so then this is going to be the center of this quadrant. No, it's not. Bonehead. If I do another 46 by 39 here, 46 by 39 there, and that gives me the center of this quadrant. There we go. Right, now we can get rid of this. Don't need this anymore. Boom. And get rid of this one. Now that's as much as I'm going to do. I'm not going to mark out the like the other half, because this is a big map. It's going to take us a while just to fill 1 quadrant, let alone all 4. But the reason that I wanted this this center part marked is because, like, my OCD kicked in, and I want my utilities in the center of the map. So Now I know where my centre is, I can lay in my utilities. And we're going to start off with our utilities. Now, we start off with 30,000 to spend, which is not a whole lot of money, let me tell you. And there's an easy way to instantly boost this bank balance so that you can kind of get started a bit quicker. And that is to use grants. Now, if you go over to here, to your reports, and go down to this tab, the grants tab, you get a series of grants that you can apply for. So, like first one, basic detention centre. If you build a basic detention centre, and you can see the objectives, you'll get 30,000, right? So what happens is you get 20,000 up front, and then you get another 10,000 when you complete. So if we click on that, it gets added to our to-do list, and you can minimise this by clicking on it. You have to complete all of these things, and you get an extra 10,000, but we've already got 20,000. See, we've gone up from 30,000 to 50,000. Very, very cool. And what else? We could build an administrative centre. For this, you need to build 2 offices, hire a warden, unlock finance through bureaucracy. Now, bureaucracy is this thing up here, and we need it to have a warden before we can unlock that and then start unlocking like our tech tree. So and then you need to hire, unlock finance through bureaucracy, and then hire an accountant. Now, those are all things that we want to do. So this is a good option as a second one. Now, we get 10,000 for that. We get 5,000 up front and 5,000 when we complete. Now, that means that we've almost doubled our starting cash. So this is a great way to get started. Now, if you want to go a different way, like you want to go medical or something, then you can choose one of the others. But these are really quick to do, so we're going to go with those. Okay, now we've got a bunch of cash. We're going to do, let's put our utilities in first, because that's kind of an important thing for your prison. So there are two basic utilities, electricity and water. Now, for electricity, you start off with a power station. Now, you need to put one of these in to connect yourself to the grid, right? And this will supply you with a certain amount of power. And I'm just going to plop that in right there. Now, you can add to the power of this by adding capacitors, but you can only put them along the edges, right? They have to be adjacent to it. You can't, like, the corner spot doesn't work. So that means you can add 12 capacitors to this, right? And that's why I've placed this here. If I want to then expand even further, I can put in another power station there, and then there, and then there, right? And I'll be able to fit all my capacitors in. Okay, so that's the placement of that. Then water. I'm going to put one water pump in, and the water pump is going to go there, right? For any special reason? No, not really. I just feel like putting it there. Okay, now I'm also going to kick off with some capacitors, because this doesn't produce like a whole hell of a lot of power, to be honest. So we're going to need some capacitors, even for the most basic things. So I'm going to bang in 3 of those straight away. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Okay, right, and these cost like 1,000 each. So 5,000 for the power station, 5,000 for the water pump, 1,000 each for the capacitors. We've already spent 13,000, right? Big investment, but you need them. Absolutely need them right from the off. So you might as well bang them in straight away. Right, now I'm going to go back to planning. Now, this is, like, I don't have many gripes with this game, but I've got like 2, like, straight away. One is the size of the numbers when you're drawing stuff. And the second one is why, when I go to my planning tool, can't I see stuff that I've already put in? Like, if I go back to, like, materials, I can see the stuff that I've put in, right? But if I go to planning, I can't see anything. So how can I plan new stuff? Crazy. Anyway, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. What I'm going to do, I'm going to draw a pathway all the way to the roadside. Okay. Now, you want to draw it, like, up to, but not over this pathway, I think, right? Because basically you can't build anything on the roadway other than a road gate, and we'll get to that. Right, now this is going to be our main entrance to the prison. Now, subsequently I will be adding a couple more entrances, but for now this is going to be our main entrance. Now, you can see we've got 2 areas marked. for garbage to be taken away and for deliveries to arrive. Okay, and you could live with those. You could quite happily live with those if you wanted to. But I'm going to go with something a little bit more ambitious. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to rooms. Now all of your areas, like the deliveries and the garbage and the cells and offices and like everything, is a room type. And this is all your rooms. Now, and some of them are greyed out. You don't have access to them right at the beginning. But these you do have access to. So we've got 1 deliveries and 1 garbage specced out at the moment. Right. Now, what I want to do, now where's my center point? Here's my center point. And I'm going to put in a 3x9. Now, you're probably wondering, well, why don't you go further out? Because I'm going to put a fence in here because we want to make this a secure area. Okay, and I can't build, see this goes red here, you can't build on the outside tile, so I'm going to have a fence inside here, and then we'll have this area. And then I'm going to put in a deliveries area above this, and I'm going to make this like 3x20. Now again, you're probably wondering, well, why are you making that so big? It's because if you get lots of stuff arriving at the same time, your drivers, if they're waiting to behind other vehicles, they'll get out and start shipping the stuff out. They'll start unloading their trucks, right? So if you have a nice big deliveries area, they can be very efficient because they'll just dump it like as close as they can, right? And we're going to do the same down here. We're going to have a 3x20 down here as well, right? Because ultimately, you know, we're going to have stuff being delivered all over the place, and we'll have 3 entrances, and it'll all be huge and wonderful. Right, we can now get rid of this delivery area and this garbage. And ultimately, I'm going to have another garbage area down here and another garbage area up here. So, there you go. Right. Now it's time to put in our first building. Well, how do you put in buildings? Well, you start off with foundations. If you want something to be classed as indoors, then you have to build it with the foundations. You can't. Now, if you go to materials, you'll see that you've got all types of floor types and wall types. But if you build with this, it won't be classed as indoors, right? It'll be classed as outdoors. You have to build with your foundations. Now, it doesn't matter whether you build with brick or concrete. They both cost the same amount. That costs 10. That costs 10. So I'm going to do mine with concrete. Now, I'm going to have an entranceway in here with a couple of gates. It's going to be like an airlock, and there's going to be a guard positioned here, and then we're going to have offices on either side. At the beginning, actually, this is going to be a storage area, I think, down here, and then we'll have offices up here. This will change over time, but that's how we're going to start. Now, one of the things about when you put in buildings with your foundations, let's say that I was going to put in some offices. Okay, so let's say I was going to put in an office, just one office, right? Now, an office has to be 4x4. So when you add the walls, which are 1 deep on either side, you need a 6x6, right? That gives you a 4x4 in the center. Okay, but then if I said, well, I want to do that, and then I want to add a corridor, right? So I want another area there, right? First of all, you can't overlap these areas while they're still building. Okay, so you'd have to wait for this to build before you could put this in, right? But let's say you did that. So this builds, and then you put this here. What would happen is it would remove this wall that's between the 2 rooms. So you would end up with 1 room. Okay, so you want to kind of avoid that. You can't necessarily avoid it all the time, but you want to avoid it as much as possible. So if you know that you're putting in an office here and you're going to have a corridor here, then what you actually want to do is not put that in, but put this in 8 wide, which is the 6 you wanted for the office, and the extra 2 for the corridor, right? And then you want to build that like however big you want to build it up here. Okay. Now the thing is, if I built offices on this side, and then offices on this side, and then said, oh, I want this to be indoors as well, right? Then when I put this part in like that, I'd be going over the office walls and it'd take out these office walls. Now you can put them in because you can just go to materials and you can say I want a concrete wall, and you can draw the walls in again. But it's kind of silly to build them twice. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off with a fairly big foundation area. So we're going to start with concrete, and I'm going to start, now let's see, I want to be like about, let's see, I want to be about probably 20 that way, and then like 10, maybe 10, yeah, maybe, no, actually I'm going to be bigger than that. I'm going to go like 50 this way and like 20 that way. So I want to go up here, so 50 would be, oh, here we go, 49, 50, right, that would be 50. Okay, so I'm going to start there. So 50 and then 2 for this, and then I'm going to put in like 20 on the other side. Okay, and again, see, I can't see the measurements. I have to zoom out a little bit. Right, so it's going to be in total 50 plus 2 plus 20, 72. So it should be that big. And how wide is it going to be? It's going to be 6 plus 2, so 8. So 72 by 8. Boom. Right. That is going to be our first building that we built. Now I'm going to add stuff onto here, right? Which is, but there's kind of no avoiding this kind of issue with the walls. But what I can do, if I want to get another building going like straight away, the thing to do is just to put it in and then knock down this outer wall. But I'm going to let this build first. Now, before this will build, you've got to have an entrance. Okay, if you don't have an entrance, it'll just sit there and not build. So we're going to put in a couple of entrances for this, and I'm going to go to objects. Now, anything that isn't like a wall or a floor or a person will be in your objects. And this is really nice. This is context sensitive. So if you're working with a specific type of room, it'll highlight the specific objects that are relevant to that room. You'll see in a minute. But for now, we're going to go with the large jail door, which is this thing. And to spin it around, it's the middle. You just click the middle mouse key, which is kind of strange, but you get used to it. So we're going to have a gate there, and we're going to have a gate there. Cool. Now that means that in between here, these doors do not open automatically. They can only be opened by a guard. Jail doors can only be opened by a guard. Right? Staff doors can be opened by any member of staff, so they're less secure. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a couple of jail doors, and there'll be a guard permanently stationed here to open these doors and keep an eye on everybody. Now what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and funnel all of the goods that come into the prison through this entrance. For now, like I said, we're going to have more entrances later on. But for now, we want to funnel everything through here. Well, why do we want to do that? Because everything that comes into your prison, whether it's building supplies, boxes of food, anything, can contain contraband. And contraband can be drugs or weapons or tools that can be used for escapes. And we want to try and filter out as much as possible. So what we're going to do, first of all, I'm going to go to materials, and I'm going to put those couple of, this needs to get built before I can put these extra walls in. You know what, let's let these guys get going. So we're going to speed this up a little bit, and we should say, here they come. Here are our workmen. Come on, guys. Here they come. And they'll go over here and they'll wait for the supplies to arrive. And as soon as this delivery truck stops, alright, see the delivery driver, he gets out and starts helping, and the workmen will unload as well. And here's another load of supplies. And this is bricks and concrete. This stuff's concrete. And there'll also be like metal, steel eye bars. And look, they're already laying the concrete foundations with the concrete. Here come the steel eye bars. They'll use these to build a framework around the building, and then they'll lay the final concrete. Oh, it's all very cool stuff. Here they go. Oh yeah, see, they're getting the frame going now. Now I've asked them to build a fairly big building, so this is going to take them a little bit of time. So why don't we just speed this up a tiny touch? Look at him go. But I'm also gonna zoom in because I love watching these guys work. See, he's laying on. I mean, this is like steel eye bars and rebar and all that kind of stuff. All the construction materials. See, they're laying it out. They know what they're doing, these guys. They're very experienced builders. And boy, are they strong. Like this huge double iron gate. One bloke carries that on his own. They're incredibly strong. These great big steel iron bars. Yeah, carry one of those, no problem. This bloke's taking out the garbage. Yeah, good job. Now, if you happen to knock down any trees, and let's pause this for a second. If you happen to knock down any trees, and we've knocked down a few trees, you'll get these piles of logs. Okay, now, there are a couple of things you can do with these piles of logs. You can either, let's click off this. If I click on this, you'll get options. One of the options is to sell it. And you might think, oh, great, I'll just sell them. Right? Because, like, what the hell can I use them for? But it's a good idea to actually keep these, because later in the game, you'll be able to use these logs in your workshops, and you'll be able to convert them into planks. And then if your inmates learn carpentry, you can turn them into beds and other useful things. So we actually want to keep this stuff. So what we're going to do is down here, this area down here, we're going to make a storage area for now. So we go to rooms and we'll go to, where is it? Storage. Where's storage? Now, even the developers have said this, like color coding and sorting, it doesn't make any sense anymore, and they are working on sorting this out. Where the hell is storage? I could never find storage. There's storage. Right, so we're going to have this area down here as a storage area. Zoom. Now you'll notice it's flashing with this warning icon and saying, you know, you haven't met the room requirements. It's just because we got it on pause. If I take it off pause for a second, see, that instantly goes away. Right, cool. Now that we've got a storage area, the workman will automatically get any stuff that's lying around that shouldn't be lying around, like these piles of logs, and they'll move them into the storage area. Right? And the same with any stuff that's, you know, that's delivered that's kind of lying around for a long time, they'll move it into the storage area. Okay, now we can put in some extra walls. So we're going to have a wall across here. Now we're going to need some doors into here, and I'm just trying to think, like, what's the best way to do it, because we want to keep the place secure. And we don't want our workmen and our cooks and our janitors and all the rest of it to have to wait for guards to open doors. But we still want to keep the areas secure. So what I'm thinking is that we put a staff door, which can be opened by any member of staff. Objects. A staff door. I'm thinking we put a staff door like here, and I'm going to spin it round so it's oriented the right way. So I think we put a staff door there and a staff door there. There we go. Cool. Now I'm pretty sure they can still get through there, even though this door is going to open up and look like it's blocking this, but I don't think it will. But you know what, we'll find out. Right, now we need to put in I said a couple of walls. So now we can just put these walls in like this, right? So it means that to get into the prison, you've got to go through these two doors that only the guards can open, right? But once you're inside, if you want to get into this room, you can just go through this staff room. But you can't get out of here, Okay, there's no way out. There's no way out. We're trapped. There's no way out. And it'll be the same in this one, at least for now. Okay, now we know that we're putting offices in here, so that we know that we're going to have a wall running the length of here and with a corridor. Okay, so we can put that in. Let's put that in now. So let's take a concrete wall, and we'll run that concrete wall all the way up here, like that. Cool. All right, and then we want to section this off into 4x4 squares. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll have a wall. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, and a wall. And how many of these do I want? 1, 2, 3, 4, and a wall. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and a wall. Boom. Cool. Now, offices, this is worth mentioning. Offices are... Usually you want them to be staff only, because they will have contraband in them, and some of that contraband can be quite dangerous, like scissors and stuff like that, but it can be drugs or alcohol or whatever, basically stuff that you don't want getting into your prison. So you could mark these as staff only, and I'll show you how you do that later on. We can't do it at the moment, but I'll show you when we can. But the psychiatrist who needs an office, he will have one of these offices. He will invite prisoners into his office, so his office needs to be accessible to the prisoners. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the psychiatrist in this office down here, and then I'm going to make the rest of these offices in an area which is just staff only. So the accountants and the chief of security and the warden and all that kind of stuff. Now, whew, man, a lot to get through, isn't there? Well, you're going to have to wait till the next episode. I'll see you for that. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. If you've got questions, if you've got comments, please leave me a comment. Tell me what you think of the series, what you like, what you want to see in the series, all that kind of stuff. And I'll see you for the next episode. Peace out.